Um, so hey, my name is Jemima, and today I'm going to be talking to you about defining a career path in technology. I'd like this to be an interactive session, so you could just like write in the chat, where you're tuning in from, what your level is, if you're just starting out, if you're like a junior level developer, mid level, where you're from, just whatever you feel comfortable. I want us to talk. Yeah. All right, so let's just get into it. I'd like to introduce myself. Like I said before, my name is Jemima Abu. I'm a self-taught front-end developer and school-taught systems engineer from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm currently working at Telesoftas in Lithuania, and you can find me online at Jemima Abu everywhere. That's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, GitHub, or you can visit my website, jemimaabu.com. So yeah, this talk is basically going to be like an introduction to well, not introduction, it's like a guide to building a career path based on my career path. So how I got started in tech was that in 2017 I started learning how to build websites. I did a programming course in school. I thought it was cool. I wanted to get some more information on that, and so I started teaching myself how to build websites. I used textbooks because I didn't really have good internet connection, and buying internet was very expensive for a student back then. So I used textbooks, and it was great. That same year, I attended an internship fair. That's where I had my first technical interview and my first internship. And then the year after that, I got another internship back to back with that one because internships don't pay well. So I had two internships. The year after that, I got my first full time job because I answered a job posting I saw on WhatsApp. They were basically just like, oh, we're looking for a front end developer. And I was like, hey, I'm a front end developer. I applied and I got that. And then a year after that, someone reached out to me on Twitter. They were like, oh, hey, we have this relocation program. It seems like it'd be a good fit for it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And I applied and then I got that job and now I'm here. So I just like to break down the areas, like the sections I used basically for how did I say this? The sections I use for like finding my career path. So I'm going to make this talk about 15 minutes so I can have 5 minutes for questions. So you can just write any questions you have in the chat or in the Slack channel and I'll be sure to reply you. Great. So the first thing I had to consider was choosing a tech area. How do you know which field in tech you want to work in? The thing with tech is that it's a lot, okay? If you're just starting out as a beginner, there are all these words like front end, back end, full stack, data, UI, UX, and you're like, you guys, calm down. So I found that it helped to narrow it down. An easy way to narrow it down is to analyze your interests. What do you like to do? Do you prefer design? Do you like coding? Do you like to supervise? Do you like to organize? An easy way to know that is to kind of start with everything. So I'm not saying that you should learn everything, but like the easiest way to know if you want to do something or if you don't want to do something is to actually do it. If you try learning Java, like I tried learning Java, and the next day I was like, we do not want to do Java you know and then the requirements, what languages do you need to learn, what tools do you need to use. Sometimes it's helpful to choose paths that are easily accessible. For example, I knew I wanted to design, so I could have done either front end, like I wanted to design and write code. I could have done either front end or mobile, but the thing with mobile is that you need to have like a particular IDE or you need to use a particular device if you're building mobile, and I didn't have that. But with web, you just need a laptop and like a browser. So that was why another major reason I went to web. Then the demand, what is the job market looking like? What's the average salary range? Because you're choosing a career, it's totally fine to go into it because it pays well. I don't think anyone should shame you for wanting financial stability. It's totally fine to get a job just because the pay is good, you know? And then the community, how easy is it to get access to resources or support? A very important thing when you're starting out is to know that you can easily find help if you need it. You don't want to run into a problem when you first start out and then you go on Stack Overflow and you're looking up the problem and the only question related to your problem is from 6 years ago and there still isn't any answer. It's not really good. Doesn't really encourage you. So yeah, this is a helpful article I found online for choosing a career path. It details like the fields you can go into, the requirements, what you need, and everything. So it's really cool. I will be sharing the slides. I guess I'll put them on the Slack channel so you can have access to all these resources. Yeah. So after, choosing the field, a thing people usually ask me is the qualifications. Like, do I need a computer science degree to go into tech? I would say no, you don't. The best thing about tech is that you don't need a fancy piece of paper to let people know that you can build stuff, right? Like I studied systems engineering in school, but all the jobs I got them while I was in school, so I never actually used my degree to get these jobs. I got these jobs because I had proof. I had proof that I could do what I said I could do. So that's what I always say. The best qualification is proof. If you want to find a job as a front end developer, you need to show the company that you actually know how to do front end stuff. The best way to do that is to have projects, to have like physical proof that you can show them that, look, I built this, I know how to do it. You could also take a course online. You don't necessarily have to go to a boot camp and pay all the money. You could take a course online and fine. I mean, boot camps, yeah, I get they have their reasons, but personally, yeah. So aside from qualifications, you may need to know like certain languages. If you're starting out with this new job, like which language do you need to learn? Which framework do you need to learn? My advice to all beginners would be to keep it basic, to look for the bare necessities. Every time you're starting out with a new framework, it's very tempting to get caught up in the also, you guys, if you can't hear me at any point, please just write it in the chat and I will be sure to like go over, because I would imagine if I'd be talking all this while that you literally couldn't hear me. Wow. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, it's very tempting to get caught up in the hype of needing to know everything. But I think if you're a beginner, it's totally fine to just know the basics. If you're learning front end, you just need to know HTML and CSS and you'll be fine. Okay. Then I know sometimes people are like, oh, but what about when I'm applying for jobs? I don't know, like a lot of companies they're always asking for React or they're asking for like 2 years of experience. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you're applying for a job as a junior level developer, as an intern, and the company is asking you for 3 years of experience or 2 years of experience, and they're still going to pay you a junior level developer salary, you need to ask yourself, do you actually want to work there? Okay, because from my experience, all the professional experience I've gotten with languages, I got them while on the job. I learned React when I got hired for a job that needed me to use React. I've been working at this company for like 3-4 months now, and in that space of time, I've learned 3 new frameworks. I didn't know these frameworks when I got in, but I learned them on the job. And that's why I always say you can't know everything, and that's okay. You don't need to know all billions of JavaScript frameworks that there are, because TVH, a new framework comes out every day. You don't need to know all of them. You just need to know how to know them. I think that's what I would say. So it's not, you don't need to know everything, but you need to know like how to easily learn things. If you're going to start a new job and then the company is like, we need you to learn this framework and build something with it, you need to know how to learn the framework. You need to know how to read documentation, build a simple project, utilize it. That's what I would say. So you don't need all the knowledge before you start out. You just need to know how to learn the knowledge. Yeah. And then soft skills. I think soft skills are very important when you're applying for jobs because soft skills are what separate you from everyone else. Okay, so everyone can know React, everyone can know HTML. What makes you special? What makes the company want to take a particular interest in you? Soft skills are the non-technical skills you use that kind of boost your technical skills. So some ways I've discovered of boosting soft skills would be public speaking. Public speaking is a great way to boost your soft skill because it boosts when you're in front of people and you have to start presenting to them, it boosts your communication skills, it boosts your attention to detail because you have slides. You can't just like pour all your information. You need to be particular about it. So I think that's great. I put some tips here for getting started with public speaking, and there's also a link here for a guide to public speaking if you need to. So in case you're not like a very extroverted person and you don't want to stand on stage and talk in front of people, that's fine. There are also like, it's tech. Tech is in itself an introverted career. So yeah, we got things for you. There's technical writing. Technical writing is just writing technical articles. And it's really great for boosting your comprehension skills because the easiest way to understand something is to explain it to someone else. So when you're writing articles and you're trying to explain concepts to people, you realize that you start understanding them more. And it also helps your storytelling skills. Storytelling is great for, you want to get to the point quickly and you don't want people to lose interest while you're talking. So yeah, getting started, you write as you learn. I think this is very important. For every time you learn a new language or you've learned a new feature, or you fix a bug, write about it. And then I think as developers, sometimes it's very tempting to get caught up in this, I need to build a blog before I can have a blog. You don't need to build a blog. Whenever people are like, oh, I want to start writing, but I haven't built my blog yet, there are a bunch of blogging platforms online that you can use. There's Medium, Dev2, Hashnode. You could use WordPress or Blogger. There are a bunch of them. You don't need to build a blog. You can choose to build a blog, but don't let the fact that you don't own your own blog be what's stopping you from writing. And then for resources, once again, I included a link there that you can check out. Teaching and mentoring. Now, this is more of a mid-level skill, I would say, because you need to have a certain level of experience before you can start teaching and mentoring people. But it's a great thing to keep in mind for like your future further down the line. Teaching and mentoring, it boosts your social skills because now you're not just working by yourself, you're working in tandem with people. Okay, you need to learn how people think, you need to learn how to interact with them, you need to learn how to properly talk to people. So that's really great for building social skills and teamwork. And then great ways to get started. You can volunteer to teach if you have been working at your company for a while and then new employees come in, you can be like, oh, you could just take one of them and like mentor them. It's totally fine. There's a link to an article here some guy wrote on his tips for mentorship, also really cool. And then finally, open source contribution. I just think open source contribution is cool because like it gives you mad props. You can be like, yeah, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I kind of helped build like the React repo. Like, yeah, they merged my pull requests. So I'm kind of a big deal. No, but seriously, open source is a great way for like thinking of problem solving and critical thinking. You see an issue, you start thinking, how can I fix this? What's the best way to go about this? And you can't just like write code that fixes it. You need to write things that already fits in with their existing code structure. So it's a really great way. And then it's like you look at the issue and you create a pull request and you merge your pull request and you're like, oh yeah, awesome. It's great. It's a great feeling. And then finally, you've done all of that. You've done your qualifications, your soft skills, yada, yada, yada. Now you want to find a job. So how do you find jobs and when should you apply for jobs? So I'm going to talk about the how first. How I find my jobs, I usually find my jobs on online sites. So there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really cool way for finding jobs that are close to you, like in your particular area. Angel.io, I really like Angel.io because it's a startup platform. So it's really good for finding remote jobs. And it's also a good way, if you like working at startups, like Angel.io is a great way for finding you know, jobs there. Remoteok.io. I put this because in case you're looking for a remote job, it's a good place to find jobs. But personally, I don't like mass job sites. Like if you're applying with like 500 other people, it's very easy for your application to get lost somewhere in the crowd. So another thing people don't know is that Twitter is actually a really good place for finding jobs. The thing with Twitter is that people usually just tweet things like, oh, my company is looking for a front-end developer, or we're hiring a front-end developer, or I'm leaving my role. Is there anyone that so it's a great way of finding like inside information, and it's very easy for you to connect to the people because all you need to do is just reach out to them and say, oh, hey, I saw your tweet, are you still applying? What do I need for the role? And they'll tell you. It's great. Then looking out for opportunities. People are missing out on job opportunities because you do not know that these opportunities exist. For example, in my school, sometimes when I was in school, international companies would come to the school to recruit students, and then you'd be in class and you'd be talking with your friend and they'd be like, oh, did you attend that Microsoft event yesterday? And you're like, what Microsoft event? You could have worked at Microsoft. So you need to look out for opportunities. A great way to do that is a great way of finding opportunities is from word of mouth. You need to join communities, attend meetups, grow your network, follow blogs, people. If there are companies you want to work in, if you want to work at Google or Facebook or Amazon, follow people that work at Google, Facebook, Amazon, because it's the easiest way to find out like direct information. Because nowadays everybody's very social, everybody's talking online. So it's a great way of just like knowing these things straight up. Then when is the right time to start looking for a job? If you've been learning and you have no previous work experience, the best thing with tech is that you don't need work experience. You just need experience, and you don't need to work to get experience. So if you have a good grasp of the basic necessities, like the basic necessities for whatever job you're applying in, that's fine. If you have proof, you have a couple of projects to show for it, you want to apply as a front-end developer, you've built a couple of websites, that's great. And then research. People are usually forgetting that it's fine to want to work somewhere, but you want to know where you want to work and why you want to work there. You may be a better fit for a startup, you may be a better fit for an established company, if you're not the kind of person that likes, pizza nights every Friday and hanging out with your team after work, you probably don't want to work at a startup. So you want to look into the kind of industry you want to work in. That's very important for when you start applying for jobs. And then the most important thing is to apply. I see like a lot of people usually prevent themselves from applying for jobs because they're like, oh, they need like 2 years experience and I only have 1 year and 6 months, so I probably shouldn't apply. It's fine. Apply. You have nothing to like. I mean, if they don't give you the job, it's like you had the job before, you lose nothing. So I would say just always apply for every job. If you meet even 25% of the requirements, apply for it. At the at the worst case, like they'll say no, but at least your name is in their system. You know, you always want to be in the system. So yeah, if you want to read some more things on this, I wrote an article on how I got my first remote job. So it's a really I just like outline the like exact things that I did to get my job. So you can check that there. Okay. Then, final advice. My final advice to you and to whatever stage you're in is that you belong here. I know that in tech, sometimes you look around and you don't really see people that look like you, and it feels like, is this the right field for me? When I first started, I remember the first meetup I attended when I first started. I couldn't see any other girl there, and I was scared to go into the hall because I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. But I went into the hall and I remember there was a female speaker, and I just kept on looking at her when she was talking. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, there's another girl here, you know? Because in Nigeria, it's not so much of a race thing because everyone is black, but like seeing other girls in the space. So when you realize that there are people who look like you in this space, it's great. But what you also need to remember is that you belong here, and don't let anyone tell you differently. If anyone tells you that, oh, are you sure tech is a career for you? You tell them that that's negative energy and you don't need it. Okay. Okay. Then another resource I would recommend is roadmap.sh. It's this really cool detailed paths by Kamran Ahmed. Hope I pronounced that right. Basically just paths on like specific languages and things that you need to learn for whatever career you're going into. So I think he has front end, maybe back end, I think DevOps, and they're working on mobile. So you can check that out. The link is roadmap.sh. It's also really cool. And yeah, that's about it. I was right on time, stuck to my 15 minutes. So I'll be taking questions now. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat and I will be answering all of them. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the talk. Also, if you don't want to ask your questions in the chat, you can always message me on. Oh, let me just go back to that link. It's roadmap.sh. That is S like. I want to say S like, and my brain just blanked. I literally could not think of a word that started with S. S like sand, yeah, and H like house. So roadmap.sh, you can just check it. But like I said, I'll be sharing the slides in the Slack channel. All right, so I have 4 minutes left. I'll be taking all your questions now. So I'm gonna just scroll through and start. Could I send the link for the survey? Okay, you're right. Let me just paste the. Can stop sharing my screen actually. And I'm going to paste the link in this chat here, and I will also put it on the Slack channel so you guys can easily view it. Okay. So first, paste this link. So you guys, please just ask me all your questions now. I have 4 minutes, so I have enough time to take your questions. Really glad that I stuck to time. Yay me. All right, that's the link. Sorry, it's ugly. It's Google Slides, and I can't figure out like where to share my slides right now. Okay. Yep. Well, thank you all for enjoying the talk. Just looking for questions. Thank you guys so much for interacting with the chat. I really love like having interactive sessions. Oh yeah, also if you guys want to connect with me anywhere online, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on GitHub. You can always just reach out and connect there. Okay, I've seen the question. How can someone who doesn't have any knowledge on tech but has skills to learn it get the job? Where to start? So like I said, if you don't have wait, okay, you don't have any knowledge of tech, but you have skills to learn it. All right, I would recommend looking for. It's important to know how you learn. For example, I know that I don't really work well with videos because I kind of get distracted when things are moving on my screen. So I prefer textbooks. And also, if you don't have like stable internet connection, you may not want to do an online course that requires you to be constantly online. So there are lots of free resources online. Free Code Camp is a great place for learning like the basics of front-end development. You could also download textbooks. Just look out for. Usually, what I just do if I want to learn a new language, I just Google it and I put like for beginners at the end, and there will be recommendations based on what you Google. Okay, and what's Slack channel? I'll post it on the global conference live chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really glad you. Yes, I'll share the slides. Thank you. Wow, so many things. Oh wow. Oh my God, you guys, stop. I'm blushing. Okay, how do I deal with imposter syndrome personally? I have this weird thing with imposter syndrome. Like, the way my imposter syndrome works is that it doesn't tell me that I'm bad. It just tells me that I'm good at deceiving people. So, like, if I get a job or if I get accepted to a conference, my imposter syndrome is like, hey, look at you lying to people that you know what to do. Good for you. So, one thing that helps me is to just take a deep breath and realize that, you know what, I know this and I know that, and that's okay, right? Like, sometimes you're looking at other people and you're seeing what other people are doing and you're feeling like, oh, I haven't done enough, I haven't done as much as them. It's fine. Everyone moves at their own pace and you don't need to do the same thing that everyone else is doing. Just realize, look at what you've done. Go through your portfolios, go through your GitHub, go through whatever. Go back to the first time you started working and go back to now. You'll realize that you have come far enough and you're fine. How long have I been working remotely? I just worked remotely for about 11 months. That was while I was in Nigeria, and then I moved here. So, oh yeah, because of the lockdown, we've been working from home for like 3 months now. So yeah, knowing many tech or knowing one tech in detail, definitely I would say knowing one tech in detail, because if you're applying for a job, the catch with knowing many techs is that you can't do all the jobs, right? So just like know like the main tech you need and then apply for a job in that area. Especially to specialize and to have knowledge of everything. Any advice for a fresher? Don't try to know everything. I think don't try to know everything. Just try to know one thing and know it well. That's what I would say. Know one thing, know it well. Build projects. You'll be fine. Oh, my time is almost up. Okay, it's 10:30 and I need to get out of here for the other speaker. I see I still have some more questions. Sorry, I couldn't get that. I will be taking questions in the Slack channel. If you guys have any, just be sure to, if I didn't answer your question, please you can send me a personal message on Slack. You can put it on the channel. It'll be totally fine. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for being nice. Y'all are great. Bye. How do I leave? I just leave. Bye.